Maybe about who I am, right? I'm Singaporean. I moved to the US for school in the East Coast, actually. First, did 4 years at Pittsburgh and 2 years in Boston, Cambridge area. Then I moved to the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, to work, and
Mhm.
I've been kind of in there since then. Of course, lots of visits to Singapore. Maybe I added it up. It's more than a year and a half, probably of visits to Singapore cumulatively. So, uh, try and keep in touch with all the people that I've networked with, from Singapore, and also when I meet here and back to Singapore. And somewhere along the way, I got very interested in building communities. And in the US, I was like helping run Singapore Students Association. When I came over to the Bay Area, I found some people, and we at first were going for other people's, like other associations events, and then others thought maybe we should start an association, and they started it, and then about 2 years later they kind of persuaded me to join, and that's Singapore Connect. And so I've been president of Singapore Connect since 2009 or 2008, late 2008. So it's been a very, very rewarding journey, getting the events going and people together. So for tonight, or wherever you are in the morning, maybe I'll just start off with kind of like, who is Singapore Connect? What is this SG60, a legacy event? And what is it in for you? What are the opportunities? How are we structuring it? What are the potential rewards? Right. So Singapore Connect, I just alluded to that. It was a bunch of people staying in the San Francisco Bay Area. Started like a social club. So it's actually on the process of being registered as a 501(c)(4). So we'll be like actual registered association. It's emphasis volunteer led. So we just thought of having something for Singaporeans, friends, and family to connect over events. Pinned it along the lines of fun, food, fit, I think. Although I think the food always never is far from people's minds. The fit needs work, but we have lots of fun. And sometimes we do professional networking or panel discussions. So we have an AI panel actually that we've been also doing. So that's part of the think part. What Singapore Connect is not, and sometimes people get confused because the name is very similar. It has the word Singapore, has the word connect in it, and there's also uh, this particular entity of the Singapore government called Singapore Global Network, SGN, and our acronym is sometimes SGC, so we often get confused. And in fact, SGN actually once told us that their original thought for their name was also Singapore Connect, but they couldn't because we got there first. So we're also not the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because some people ask, do you hold those National Day receptions? That it's probably their most common contact in whatever city they're in, Washington, D.C. or San Francisco, that has a consulate, or New York. The CG does hold that reception. So we're not any of these. We're not full-time paid staff. We are volunteers. We are grassroots up. We are people like probably you and I staying, you staying here, working generally professionally, or some people are like spouses of those who are working and setting up families here. Right. The long and short is we've had a fair number of great events, and I've just highlighted a few. These are some of our larger events, and they have in person up to 707 attended, and online also about 700 attendees. And during the COVID era, we did a lot of events almost every month, 2 weeks, and then every month. And some of them were hybrid, meaning we had a combination of like multiple locations connected via a live stream program with dedicated hosts. So just giving a few that we've had some experiences, we've learned a lot, and we're thinking of doing something even on a bigger scale. Uh, and that is this Singapore SG60 event. Now, at this juncture, I see on this call I have Richard and Tabitha. Both of them are the co-chairs as well of this event. You can think of Singapore Connect. We kind of brought them and they found this, we had this joint passion, right? To build, I'll just kind of go through it, and Richard and Raptor, feel free to chime in. First goal, a Singapore festival. So something to celebrate Singapore's culture and actually also introduce it to non-Singaporeans. It's like sometimes people have asked, and I'll get to that, why we doing this. And I think when we stay in the US long enough, I think we feel some passion to actually help explain Singapore sometimes. So for those of us who've been here a while, I think that's something we get. And the next though is I've always felt building events, doing events and building communities that I want to inspire others to do the same. And one of the things, if I can do as part of Singapore Connect, is to leave templates, is to help build a reusable and scalable event template for other Singaporean orgs and individuals. That could include the way we did the organization, the planning, the execution, the operational process, the IT, technology tools, and solutions. Okay. Singapore Festival. So let me elaborate more. What we are envisioning is a one-day public event with up to 3,000 attendees, participants. We're celebrating Singapore's 60th National Day, SG60. And we'd like to showcase the unique multicultural identity of Singapore with, you know, I think we should kind of also hash through for the non-Singaporean public, your non-Singaporean friends, families, or for your children residing, but they're from Singaporean families, but they're not residing in Singapore. There's a lot that actually I think we had this passion to help introduce. Because sometimes people ask like, what is Singapore? Is it part of China? So wanted to put in if what we can afford, a walkthrough on Singapore's history, snippets of life and experiences in Singapore that we like to show, past, present, and future. Then I think what all the Singaporeans and everyone would love to enjoy is a festival, a get together. We want to put together Singaporean performers and entertainers, get booths for Singaporean businesses and agencies that they can meet and market with these attendees, and of course, lots of Singaporean food. So I'm going to kind of breeze through this so we can get to the Q&A, but we've actually been working as a core team on a plan, and we've also managed to sell this to some of our sponsors, in particular the Singapore Global Network. So they are pretty sold on a concept plan that reaches out to both Singaporeans and non-Singaporeans. And this walkthrough I'm kind of showing you starts with the aspect that's kind of what I said earlier about this part of the festival, kind of going through the Singapore that we feel is worth introducing. So it's kind of like imagine going through an MRT ride, and we've got exhibits and hopefully actors to play scenes of Singapore's history and get to the part through independence and to what a possible Singapore household living room might look like. Now, it's possible that we might not have to build props for all these things. It could be projections, it could be pictures. So it all depends on reality. And to put to the stage, we'll have a stage for live performances. We do have some entertainers already committed, and we are looking for more, obviously. And something quite exciting is I think if we had the booth area and such, we can actually decorate our space to kind of model after Geotown. Because when people looked at things, it's like that was really one of the most stunning sights. So booths, and of course the food, give it a Gardens by the Bay theme. And I'd say that what are opportunities for you going into this event? And I'll get to Q&A. We've put together a pretty dynamic team, and on our past events, we've had on the order of 40, 80 volunteers. This event looks like if it scales the same way it did before, 150 volunteers. Um, be part of this team. I think it's just going to be awesome. We got this far. Let's all get together and see we can do this. So you get the opportunity to make things, and for those who can, to lead, and for those who have talent, to show, entertain, perform, and inspire. You know, so there are we kind of came up with three levels of volunteer, just to kind of get a good way for you to fit get something that fits what you have, what you can do. I was wondering if Richard, you might want to introduce and maybe explain a little about how we came up with these tiers.
All right. Thank you, Mark, for taking and driving this so effectively and introducing everybody. Hi, everybody. My name is Richard. Um, I've been in the Bay Area for 30 years. Thank you for joining us and thinking about helping out. So let's talk about really quick about this volunteer thing. All of us work, all of us have family. That's the reality of life. And we still want to be a part of a bigger community. So what I did was that I've been in the Bay Area for 30 years. I've also participated in many Americans groups. I was even a volunteer fireman with the Fremont Fire Department as part of the CERT program. So we took some pieces that came out from other organizations to apply here. So what we have is that we know that different people at different commitment level. So tier one is people who has the ability to work with us from beginning to end. They are like kind of the most dedicated volunteers itself. And we are hoping that the people here can spend between 6 to 10 hours a week to help out all the way until October after the event, and we, do the cleanup and wrap up and everything itself. So that's kind of tier one. Now, tier two, on the other hand, there's a lot of people who wants to help, but they can't. They have family, they have work, and so on. But they can do short-term sprint. That's why we call it a sprint itself. So it's about 6 weeks. So in this 6 weeks itself, you're spending between 4 to 6 hours per week to help out, and there's actually tangible takeaways, things that you can go back and say that I actually have done this. And you can join one sprint, two sprint, up to you. It's totally flexible. And then the last type of volunteer is people is going to be on the event day. We're going to need a lot of volunteer, anywhere from doing play acting to pathfinders to, helping out with prep foods, things like that, just to name a few. So the event weekend, which includes setting it up and tearing down, we need volunteer to help, not necessarily to do the heavy labor, just to be clear. We need people to be able to help out in looking at things, making sure things are done correctly, because we are hiring proper professional for the heavy lifting stuff, but we still need volunteers. So that's basically tier three. So those are the three tiers. Any questions there? Well, I'm going to hand it back to Mark then.
So I just noticed Tapito is on the call. I just want to Tapito if you want to quickly introduce yourself. And what I actually was kind of trying to browse through also was some of the amazing artwork storyboarding that I think Tapito's daughter drew for the.
Hi everyone, I'm Tabitha. I'm actually not in the Bay Area, but in Atlanta, Georgia, on the East Coast, and I've been in the U.S. for about 25 years. Yeah, and I'm very thankful to be able to work with Richard and Mark on this Singapore 60 event.
All right. So I can jump, I think this is actually from all of us, right? Richard and Tapito and me. We've been doing lots of events, and if anyone is thinking of moving from being a participant to a volunteer, I'm going to show you some motivational feedback on the next slide. And all these rewards, it depends on where you are in life. If you're just getting started, it's just gaining experience and networking. And if you are experienced, I think it's about putting it forward, sharing your experience, whether as a lead and or a mentor or a coach or all of them, to the folks who are just finding this going to be a fun experience to put on their resume, right? And if it is necessary, we can talk for remuneration, certificates of participation, service hours, or tokens of appreciation. Now, it's not like we are having a big budget. It is actually very constrained. So it is probably going to be something that we are going to have to manage. But we have, I think, lots of enthusiasm, and to share some of that, past event motivational feedback, which you can read here. Uh, we get lots of these, and it is just very rewarding to pull together people to put up something. So I hope that from all the opportunities that you see, or any other questions that you have, um, you'll be able to come and join our team. Thanks.
Yeah, I just want to add one important piece. Mark, if you jump back to the previous page where you had the rewards.
Mm-hmm.
So, we have a great team here. It's not just people who's working professionals, but also younger folks too. So we kind of hit all ages here. And I think one of the biggest thing we can take away is a community. Um, if you look around yourself, you've seen the Indonesians, you've seen the Taiwanese, or you see the Japanese. You see how tight their community can be. They're always helping each other out. Anybody who's in the Bay Area itself have seen this community work. And during the COVID time itself, our community came together and created all these virtual events to basically each week. Remember, we used to do this like every single week. There was a time that we got together, talk about what's happening in Singapore with COVID, talk about our surrounding area. It might not mean a lot, but it was something that was important. It is something that actually bring people together. It gave people a refuge when you're stuck at home, where you can't, go out except to buy grocery, and you have to keep all those distance, cover your face, and all this other stuff. Human being needs that. We need that. So this is a great opportunity for you to meet other Singaporeans, even not just other Singaporeans, but also friends of Singapore. I mean, in the committee, we actually have non-Singaporeans who came and say, "Hey, I don't mind helping out. I don't mind offering my time," and they came with all different skills. And we have some very, very prominent people with long experience that can, for example, one of the uh, student asked, "Oh, do we have someone who knows Ruby on Rail?" Oh, it just happens that there is somebody who is on our team who actually is an expert on Ruby on Rails, things like that. It's an all opportunity. So I just want to highlight that.
But, if you guys would be keen, if anyone wants to, I'll have a 30-second video. I'll see how well this works. I'm going to stop the share and try it again with optimize. Oh, I see. It was optimized for video sharing already. No, now I'll do that. Yeah, share with sound. Optimize for video sharing.
I think you say you have to turn it off, right, to optimize.
Good these days because we've not had so many Zoom events. So let's see if this even works. Let's see. No, I'm not gonna bother. So
Oh, ouch.
nah.
All right. Well,
It's been
how
like
about
many years since we've had to do all these live stream events, so clearly we need to rehearse, which is but hey, I think the enthusiasm there. I'll share the link when we have it ready. So but why don't we just go ahead and take questions?
yes. Would everybody mind just open your video for a second? It was a lot better if we can see people.
Anyway, it's fine. I mean, go ahead, ask any
Yeah,
question,
any questions?
and let us know also what you think. Are we like super crazy or um
Any questions? Come on.
Okay, I have a question. Okay, it's the first time listening what you guys have been doing, and I'm amazed like you guys have been doing like almost so many years. It's pretty quiet here on the East Coast, Toronto, where I'm in now. So it's nothing like Bay, but I do have my friends to come together, not just Singaporeans, but other nationalities as well. I would like to know, so the event itself on the day will be carried out in the Bay Area, or is it like decentralized, or I don't think it's decentralized, right?
You're
You
right.
have to
No.
We're
more about
planning
that.
an in-person event and an online component. So the
Oh,
online one, that is obviously you participate online. It'll be a program that's integrated, but is dedicated for the online part. But the main event is really the in-person part.
at the
Yes.
Bay Area.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
So what is the
You're welcome to come in. We placed it right next to San Francisco Airport. It's like less than 10 minutes from the airport.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so the main event, the signature event where it's in person, it is actually pretty accessible. We pick a location where you can reach it by Caltrain, by driving. We make sure there's enough parking space. So location-wise is one thing, but of course, since you're in Toronto, you are far away. We do have an online component, which is 1 hour on that day itself. So that's how we're going to pull it off. We'll take elements from the in-person programmings, raffles and games to comprise of the online piece itself.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Hannah, Anna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hello,
Yeah,
Richard. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Anna. Sounds like you're in a nice sunny spot.
Taking a walk.
Looks like, yeah. Well, Hannah, just to comment, the
Yes.
Bay Area Singaporean community has a wide um, range from those studying here to those working here for the just came in to those who worked here for a while to those who probably will retire here. So it's a pretty broad age group we've had. Also it's distributed actually quite across, but it is nice when we can to get together. So the spot we picked, I mean, just to give you that sense, is central to people in the Bay Area, and is also next to San Francisco Airport. And we hope that through this publicity, in fact, people from elsewhere would choose to come in, and maybe hopefully meet, not just at this event, but with other people in the community. It's a great community here, and we also have the Singapore Consulate General, right? That's also here in San Francisco. I can't say the grass has to be greener here, right? I love
no,
Toronto. I've been to Toronto many times, but it's a great community here. Yeah, and I think we've had a bit of a track record, which is why we were able to get some of the sponsorship to even imagine of doing something like this. And now we need to combine all the pieces, right, together and try and do something really awesome. We did something pretty great for SG50. So this is I think within reach. Yeah.
Has the date been fixed, like in the actual day?
Yeah, we will
Okay.
we will send it out. I think it will be this September 21st. The reason why we haven't sent it out is we have to confirm everything. September
Oh,
21st,
okay.
2025.
So it's a whole day event in
yes.
Probably like the whole reasonable day. I'm not going to talk like, midnight to midnight, but like morning to mid-afternoon.
Okay.
Are you
So
planning to join us, Hannah?
I don't know. I'm afraid I'll be stopped at the customs.
Oh, I think you are overly
You know what?
concerned. I
Honestly, a
understand. I
lot
understand.
of my friends are avoiding the US.
I understand the fear, but I think that is overly rated.
Yeah,
I,
I think so
I
too,
know there's a
right?
lot of fear mongering around, and now this, what's the interesting thing is I'm in AI and cybercrimes or cybersecurity to be more specific.
Wow, interesting.
It is a very interesting paradigm because there is a war going on. If you remember Cold War, it used to be fought differently. Well, it is happening at the moment as we speak. So, so that this is one form of war.
Yeah.
Fear mongering is the
I
term we
will
use.
kind of give a take. San Francisco is more of an Asian place. Even the Customs Border Patrol people, a fair number of them are Asian. I think they're also used to seeing people from Singapore come in, uh, and or people with a Singapore passport. So generally speaking, I mean, there'll always be possibilities of exceptions, right? I think it's a place that, I mean, as an immigration at San Francisco, is kind of more used to it. Having said that, I think if you did fly from Canada, you would do pre-clearance though in Toronto.
Yeah. I
So,
don't think there's any issue.
and
Yeah.
I think that they know you're from Canada, right? I mean, Toronto's, I mean, yeah.
You know what? I'm very proud to hold my passport, and every time I don't think I have encountered a big issue at the customs really anywhere, anywhere I go. So yeah, it's just maybe some other of my friends. Yeah,
Well,
probably saw.
historically, it has never been an issue.
Yeah,
I have used my passport to fly in from different places, especially when you fly in from Singapore or Canada. Typically, immigration don't even bother to look at your stuff. It's just
yeah,
kind of like, okay, go ahead, walk through.
yeah,
Although there are certain places I've come back from where they will check you like crazy, regardless of passport.
yeah. Yep, yep. Thank you.
But Hannah, I wish you will come because I'm also flying in to come to the event. I'm not local. I said I'm not local
Oh
to
yeah.
the Bay Area, but I will be flying in too.
So you are coming right up to San Francisco, yeah, at Georgia, right?
Yes, Georgia. I'm in the
This
south
way.
east.
Yeah,
Yes.
southeast, this way.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So you're actually in my north. We are on the same time zone. So
Maybe
do
I
come.
should be looking out for airfare and how is it like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I probably have a friend visiting from Europe, so I'm not too sure yet. Yeah. So I got booked earlier ahead already, but I'll check up with that.
But you can still
Um,
help. You can still help.
Mhm.
You can still
yeah,
help.
of course, Richard, I understand. Yeah, I think virtually nothing is like too far. Yeah, we all went through COVID, right?
Yeah,
We actually arrived very well.
that's right.
Okay. So one more last question I have. So I'm trying to figure out. So this is just North America that we are doing this event for, like Singaporeans in just North America, like US and Canada, and
I
just
mean, I mean, for a practical sense, right?
yeah,
We
yeah.
are
Oh,
already in San Francisco, so we have to do it in the area that's local to us. We obviously invite people anywhere to come in. I just figured it's probably more sensible to focus
Mm.
on the North American, um, right?
And if we are successful this time around, we can keep doing this. And like what Mark said, his very ethos is, can we repeat this? Not just do it 1 year, but do it again and again. That's the whole reason for template. We can always expand. We can always
But
expand to other parts of the US, like East Coast, things like that.
I mean, if someone wants to license this, it's not really like a license, right? Copy this, go
I
ahead,
don't know
right?
about licensing, but anyway, that's
Copy.
a separate story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we
So,
love
so
to have you,
Cheryl,
but
Cheryl's gonna help publicize this, right? Hannah, you mentioned.
I
So,
don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, what is the perimeter of her work, and what about this? Because you just explained that SG Connect, is not SG.
well, SGN.
and yeah,
Yeah.
We do
So
work with them. We
that
do work with them. It is a
you
close
do
relationship,
work with them, right? I mean,
right? But it is not like, I mean, because they also recognize that SGN government, there's only so much people they have that are full-time SGN people.
mhm,
They're willing to sponsor things that are relevant to their mission. So we talked, and this is relevant to their mission, so they're willing to sponsor.
mhm,
mm,
But this is not, though the nature of this event, the scope of it is such that it is we still need more sponsorship, or we still need more money, I think, to make it the way that was envisioned. And certainly we can't just like, oh, everything has to be like professional paid, everything, because it's not gonna fit the budget. But I'm sure we'll figure out some way when balancing everything with the passion, enthusiasm of awesome people coming together. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to show people what the Singaporean spirit is. Come on.
Yeah.
I have one question. Have you tried reaching out to the student associations affiliated with the universities in the Bay
Yeah,
Area? They
yes.
have a lot of people
Yes.
power.
There's two avenues on that. Red Dot Link is one of those people we talked to. Red Dot Link already reaches out to numerous student associations throughout the US. We, beginning in the Bay Area, have reached out to the Stanford Singaporean students and the UC Berkeley, and also the NUS, National University of Singapore. They have a lot of students who actually do like a 1 year internship in the US, and it's called NOC, National like Overseas College. And I also reached out to my US alma mater, so the CMU Carnegie Mellon Singaporean students. In fact, one of the volunteers coming on board is from CMU as well. So we definitely appreciate any continued and further linkages. And in fact, I think part of the talk we had is also kind of build our approach, right? That is apt for
Right,
students because especially of the some of them are more interested in getting something in their resume or they want to put it as a project.
right,
Others are, and also some students can be very good at technology, right? So these are
right.
things that we can combine.
Okay, because Claire, so she's already on the executive board for the Berkeley Singapore Student Association. But if you have already reached out to them, then she's probably looked in.
Or yeah,
Wait.
Berkeley.
So Anna,
Yes.
Clara is on UCB already?
Yes, she's in UC Berkeley.
Wow.
They just invited her to be an events officer on the executive board for 2025, 2026. But I'm not sure if
Yeah,
this
well, let
this
Clara
program.
know. We have a WhatsApp group already set up.
Okay,
Arshu, and I think if I pronounce it right, Nix is on it, and he may
Yes.
okay,
recognize those two names
okay. So
from.
And
yeah,
Anna,
she's there. I can definitely connect her to this program, but I just want to make sure that whether or not this is on the agenda, on the program items to
yes.
execute for the next year, right?
Anna, we can also
Yes.
use your help too. Janice is helping.
Okay, I will text her after this call.
I do have the video. I think it will work now. I mean, but feel free anytime you guys chat.
Any other questions before Mark goes to video? Chris, I see you're on the call as well. And then there is Eunice. Do you guys have any questions? Anything? Nothing to be shy about.
I'm just wondering, like, who is this event for? Like, is it open to like public, or like, is it
Yes,
ticketed, or like, how
yes.
does it work? Yeah.
Yes on both questions. So we are doing about 3,000 attendees. We will be opening it to public. Honestly speaking, a lot of Singaporeans here, they have spouse or childrens or in-laws who are not Singaporeans for obvious reasons, right? So we're inviting them, and we also like our friends, our neighbors to know about us. Um, the more they know about us, it also create a lot of safety for us as a country, as a people. As much as we need to keep a bit of our identity, as even as we integrate with the local, we still need to have our identity. So that's the balance that we need to strike. So this event is open to the public. We are going to try to publicize this to a larger community. And we have a lot of diversity here in the Bay, not just Singaporeans, mainland Chinese, Taiwanese, Indonesians, Malaysian, all this. So they love to know more about us. They love to know more than what they see in the newspaper. So that's it's going to be open up. So if you are coming in with some new ideas, creative ideas, that is great because that shows our uniqueness. That brings to light, a new dimension, and you're kind of creating a lot of opportunity to showcase what Singaporeans are. And we're going to try our best to bring in arts, cuisines, basically what define us.
So, Eunice, our data from past events, even though we don't open it up by like deliberately targeting non-Singaporeans, we generally have about 60% Singaporean, 40% non-Singaporean at our events because of the factor Richard mentioned that their spouses and family and friends that they bring in. So the inspiration, I think, for this comes when we see other countries actually in the Bay also and in the rest of the US do festivals, uh, whether it's Japanese, Filipino, Korean, Vietnamese. Those are all open. And I think they are great opportunities to just enjoy the cultural diversity that we all have, that we share with each another. We've actually done events in the past with Singapore Connect with the Indonesians and Malaysian associations too. So certainly those will be also on our invite list. And for all I know, we may have some Malaysians who will be cooperating with us, partnering with us on the food part because Singapore Malaysian food, it's
It's very close.
yeah, rather close.
What is the registration fee like for admission?
We're going to hold off on that. We're going to have to hold
Okay.
off on that. There's a few stuff that we're still working out.
Okay.
What do you think, Anna, would be a maximum or reasonable registration fee that
I
each person
I
would pay?
think at minimum that should be a registration fee so that you can open up the event to Singaporeans and non-Singaporeans or anyone who wants to come attend. But if you make it free, then obviously you need to comply with some of the regulations for the funding and all of that, right? It's only open to Singaporeans like the National Day event. But when it's when there is a minimum registration fee, then it's open to everyone. But it really depends on how you all are structuring it, like a general admission fee, and then for the food whatsoever, then there might be additional fees, right? Depending on the vendors whatsoever. So I think all these have to be clear when marketing the event so that people know exactly what they're paying for. Does the registration fee cover the food, cover this and all
Sure.
of that?
Sure, that's definitely going to
Very
be
much aligned.
well covered. And also just to be clear, some of the events that you talk about, like National Days itself, if they are organized by Singapore government itself, the rules are different. So we are not Singapore government. That's one of the part that we have to kind
Yeah,
of
I think it's
distinguish
hard.
ourselves.
Yeah, I think it's hard because when it's a event about Singapore related to Singapore, people just think that it's all together, right? They wouldn't know, right? Whether it's non-Singaporeans or Singaporeans, they wouldn't know who is the organizer, what kind of funding they get, whatsoever. Only the organizers of the event know what kind of regulations they have to comply with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they would think, oh, National Day, I don't have to pay, but this one I have to pay. What's the difference? Blah blah blah, right?
But if you were a non-Singaporean, right, and you just see this as a cultural event, what do you think they would pay?
I think it would be about the same as what the I think typically $25 for entrance fee
Mm-hmm.
to any like a school event, even like my kids' school when they have like a fall festival, they buy like a wristband and then depending on how much they want to pay, sometimes the wristband gives them unlimited rides, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah,
But if not, they just want like the food and the drinks. Typically, I think it's between 20 to 25.
right. And those school events may have something like some entertainment or band,
Yes.
that kind of thing, a stage, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
ideally, you get all that with your entry fee. But if you want to eat a lot, then kind of
Yes.
like you
Then
pay.
you pay additional,
Like there's a
right?
food
Correct.
truck or some other kind of, food vendor there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to buy trinkets or whatever, right, that the vendors are
Yes.
selling, obviously it's
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. It's an add-on. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then if you get lucky, there may be a raffle there. I mean, of course, you don't
Yeah.
guarantee winning it back, but it's just fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hi, Mark.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is that Chris?
Yeah, that was me. Just want to say hi.
Hi.
Hi, Chris.
It may be, well, that was a Chris and a Chris. I don't know. So, any
Go ahead,
questions?
Chris.
Sorry.
Do you have any questions about anything for this SG60 event or about any questions on Singapore Connect?
Um, no, I'm actually part of the team that you called previously.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I just wanted to like
Thank you for
just know a
joining
bit
us.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just went through and you can watch the slide deck if you want, but it's I think it's stuff you're kind of new.
All right. Okay, sounds good.
Any other questions?
How much of this event is already planned and like sorted? Like, yeah, how far into it are you now?
When you say how much, what
Like
are you referring to?
the event itself, like you say, like the vendors and then the entertainment, like are they all like planned out or sorted?
There was that
Or
hidden slide that I didn't want to show yet, but let's just say that there is less. I feel that it is actually less planned. That is like we don't really have like a schedule, like a roll up of every entertainer. We need to find more entertainers, right? We don't have a menu of all the food. We've talked to the food people, but we need to get them on board and we need to come up with a menu, right? We don't have a list of all the booths. We need to reach out to those people who can set up booths. What we do have is we do have a core team. We do have an event planner. We do have a site that we have identified that we're comfortable with. And we have the date, right? And we have this infrastructure, right? The people,
Yeah, let
site
me,
and all that.
Mark, let me cut you off. I think Eunice, the better way to look at it is that it's about lead time to the event date itself, right? So there are some things you have to do earlier because there's a lot of lead time to it. Like for example, with entertainment, with food, if we plan this a year ahead, the restauranteurs, the entertainer will be like, huh, a year later, huh? Please, too early lah, 6 months ah. That's the type of attitude or reception we'll get. So it's about timing. So we have been working on the hardware, which is basically the locations, the in-person production, things like that. We are getting to the point because as Mark has already shared, it's September, right? So we are getting to the point that we have to start working on the software, which is the content. And this is where we are now working on uh, bring in the entertainers and other stuff. And yes, we do have some entertainers, we do have some restaurants, we have stuff, but are they finalized? The answer is no.
That's
So I think
exactly that, Richard. It is not finalized. It is very much in the execution planning stage. What we do have is, I think we have a pretty clear vision, and we have convinced the most major sponsor, we think, unless we get more SGN so far on that. But I think there is actually a lot that new people coming in can bring to actually make this a reality. And I think that includes pretty much designing much of the whatever you think you want to see. Like how does that stage look? How does the entertainment portion? Who we just frankly need more entertainers and performers and all that production with the acting or actresses and things that could be part of the walkthrough of Singapore. That exists. Tapita, you could speak to that. It feels we are getting layouts, productions, but is it actually a set production? No, I think we are pretty far from calling it that, and it is about 3 months to go, or so. So this is the right time to really ramp up. Hopefully people can get involved.
I think I'll add one more to that itself is um, the purpose of this session is to help people understand where we are. And if you are open to volunteer, this is the first step. We're not here to get into the details of the plannings about how much it costs and all these other details. Once you're on board with us as a volunteer, we will go into the details. There are different functional committees covering different aspects from entertainment to food to all these other specifics itself. So that's where you go into the nitty-gritty details. It will be kind of really difficult to expect us to go into, oh, we have this entertainer and so on. Some of these things we have to keep under wraps for obvious reasons itself. Um, and we can't kind of just share it in this manner, obvious reason as well. So we hope that you are sufficiently informed that when you come on board, you know what to expect. And then we'll go into the details. Would that make better sense?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm thinking like the timeline, the runway to actually 21st September is pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark was saying that it is rightfully right now ramping up on the execution part of stuff of things, rather the software, I mean the soft part of things, right? Yeah. So now it's already May, half month already gone almost. So we're left with June, July. Okay,
July,
pretty,
August.
yeah, very,
Yeah.
very, very kanchong.
Um, you know, that's a very good observation, Hannah.
Yeah.
It depends on exactly what you're talking about, Kanchong. It really comes down to.
Hmm.
Let's take food, for example. You can go to the restaurant, and we have really gone to the restaurant and talked to them. So we have really given them the heads up, the forewarnings, right? Uh, if you are talking about, okay, give me a menu now, many of the restaurant owner will be like, huh? How many people coming to your event? You tell me first lah. Otherwise, how to give you menu? How to make sure that I have a profit? So it's become a chicken egg problem, right? So we have to go and discuss with all the restaurateurs um, how to better execute, come up with a strategy, and then work with them. And then as we collect more of the registration, more of the details, we share the details and work towards. So the idea that is a finalized plan doesn't happen now.
But the idea is we actually interesting. I mean, I'm kind of very open. We started talking about this on April of 2024. Am I right?
Yes.
Not this year, like about 1 year and 1 year ago. And we got more into it around October of 2024. And then we did an outreach, and that's how we met Tapita. And we realized we had to put in all that time into building the hardware bit, as Richard said, the infrastructure bit. So now that we think we've got our process and hardware, and I think this is why I said reusable helps, because it means that we know better now if you do this order for the next team, this is one kind of structure we can go with. Now we think we got a structure, we better run with it. And so this has brought us to about late April, early May. So it's ambitious, but that's what I think excites us. Let's go do it. And so the more, I think now is a great time. People coming in with any level of experience that's passionate about this. And please, Richard and I and Tabitha, none of us are like, super professionals at running events. It's just a passion, right? I'm really glad that some of you came online today. It's always good to see new folks, as I told Hannah at the beginning, and it's the power of technology that lets us do this. So if even if I manage to just convince one more person to come to the event or help volunteer that we couldn't have gotten otherwise because of this community outreach, it's a win. And so I hope you whatever you take away tonight or today, share with others what a group of people are trying to do and whether they want to participate or come join the team. We're open.
Hi Mark. In particular, just wanted to like find out more about how this would like interplay with the tech team. Just want a bit more clarity on it so that we can add stuff to the tech pipeline.
Yes. I think the priority is anything that works for this event first. So there are two entities for the tech team I want to build. One is for SG60 event, what's needed for the event, and one is for the Singapore Connect, the organization, long term. Like, for example, we might need a volunteer management system for the SG60 event. It's also going to help Singapore Connect long term. We figure out how to do a better say database system for tracking things, it works both. So I encourage the team to look at it holistically, what is needed for the event to meet the target for the date, that should take priority. And I think building what is scalable, meaning that if we build it for Singapore Connect and we're ready to say that, if a Singapore Connect wants to open up in Georgia or in Toronto or such, right? Can we actually give you a head start? Can we share with you some of the IT systems? Because it's been not that painless actually coming up. And I've talked to other, like organizations, associations, and sometimes it's like, how do we get started, right? So I think I'd love to share that. And so if the IT team, can work with that goal, hopefully there will be a kind of a mutual benefit, not just for Singapore Connect SG60, but for the state of let's call it the global network of Singapore ish like associations.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen. I hope this visionary doesn't seem like it's too fluffy because uh, I mean, goals are what I think drive us forward, right? And this is the time, I think, to try and do something, right? This SG60 event of this nature, I don't think has been done the way it's been organized. I don't think it's been done at this scale globally. That was actually one of the reasons why I reached out first to the SGN group, like asking, has anyone done something like this? And so we did talk to some other Singaporean associations in UK and Australia and China. And all of them bring absolutely wonderful experiences that they have, but I can also see that all of them had to customize what they did to the local environment. So we're in North America. We're going to try and do something that we think from all our experience, will work for the North American community, but we definitely need everyone's help, right? I'm not, by the way, going to try doing the video. I will save that for a YouTube link. It probably will be presented much more properly. So feel free. We've got another minute or two before 6. I don't want to take up your time. I hope you know how to contact us through email. And if you want to join any one of our opportunities, I hope you know the website. You can just kind of click join. So either way, once you join, we'll have Richard and team help onboard, and I think you'll be amazed actually by already how much organization has been put into this and how much passionate enthusiasm has been put into coming up with things. We just need to build a team quite a bit and just let us know, give us any feedback, right? If you need more information about Singapore Connect, it's on our webpage, right? If you want to know anything more details about all the prior events, it's on our YouTube channel and so on our webpage. So yeah, feel free to share and ask. We just love to help build communities and connect people.
Sounds amazing, Mark.
Thanks, Kristen. And actually, I want to shout out to you too, right? You also have helped build an association or lead an association. So I think you know a little bit of how it's like trying to get money, sponsorship, supporters, and resources, and just herd cats, I guess.
That's cat.
Yeah, I can imagine how hard it is. I spent a whole year this year trying to like start all these pipelines in SSA. It's not easy trying to like start it out from the ground.
Right. I'd like to thank you, Anna, giving us your honest opinions and also reaching out to your children, or just helping them engage with the student community. I mean, we were all students. We also think, by the way, students, if they do the work and do the outreach, people are very nice to students, right? So we love to have students, and Eunice, I think you're going to bring a very special part from your a possible like a transition to the Bay Area, in joining us and networking and getting more people to know the kind of opportunities that you can also help them, inspire and help them, reach. Making me jealous, showing me snippets of
MRT.
Singapore.
Yeah.
But the moment you walk past a like bread talk or food outlet, I think then we'll salivate or something.
All right, I think we all need to go and deal with our Mother Day since it's Mother Day today in Singapore.
Thank you, everyone, and take care. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank
Good night.
you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.